rules and guidelines which parents impose on them. But of course, the toddlers fight these rules all the way. Littlies want mess and dirt. Where parents want kids to cooperate and do what they're told, kids want to do what they want to do. Where parents want to make sure that their kids don't embarrass them, and certainly not by having public tantrums, kids couldn't care less when and where they have tantrums. In fact, a real clever kid will learn that public put-downs and humiliations for parents can get a lot more mileage than the private ones. Let's just remember, though, that both parents and kids deep down want unconditional love. Somehow or other, we all need to work together to have that love. Now, let's be honest. Did you ever think that you could be the perfect parent? I did. There was many a time pre-me having kids that I stood smugly at the supermarket checkout and I would watch an harassed parent try to cajole their tantruming toddler into cooperating. At least until they were put into the car park and out of the judging zones of the entire shopping audience. Or I would wince as a parent would lose it and smack the kid in full view. And the parent would often yell and say something like, "That'll give you something to cry for." I was sure that I'd be a purely perfect parent. I wouldn't have to be a wimp, a wheedler, or a walloper. I'd be a perfect parent with the perfect child. We'd be a team. My child would understand that I only wanted the best for him or her. My child would cooperate through sickness, tiredness, and would have the ability to delay gratification and understand that you can't always have something immediately just because you want it there and then. How wrong could I be? I became a mum. I had the fights and the tantrums about what to eat and when to eat, what to be dressed in and when to be dressed in it. I had to put up with a demanding child throw a tantrum while I was on the phone or trying to talk to somebody who'd come to the house. And of course I had the button up the nose and having drunk half a bottle of Panadol when you least expect it. And I admit that I once chased my 4-year-old daughter around the kitchen table with a wooden spoon. I stopped after 2 rounds because, firstly, I knew I looked stupid. I mean, how come a fully qualified psychologist is chasing her daughter around the table like a banshee? And secondly, I stopped because I knew I wasn't going to catch her. And that's when I realised that I had to really practice what I preached and come up with some lateral thoughts around discipline. I just had to think smarter. There had to be a better way. So I recall when I first sashayed out into the big world with my baby in the carry basket. It was to do a workshop with a famous New York professor who'd been studying parenting skills by setting parents up with their children behind one-way mirrors and observing what the effective parents did in order to get their children's cooperation. And of course, observing what the ineffective parents did that meant their kids tantrumed, ignored, and fought them all of the way to get their own way. So, this tape, Easy Tantrum Taming, is the outcome of at least 12 years of hands-on application of what the professor found worked in the laboratory and what I've found only applied if I changed it into being a user-friendly and unique game. On this tape you'll hear about strategies such as the 5 C's, the 3 D's, the good kid game and the being ready routine. You'll probably want to make notes as you go, as the information is really only learned by practicing and practicing. In fact, you may wish to call the number on this cassette and ask for your written version of the strategies to help coach you as you learn to be an easy tantrum trainer. Okay, now let's get down to work by firstly thinking about the definition of a tantrum. It's easy. Just remember the last time your child went off. You know, the red face, the grimace, the yelling, the flailing about, uncaring of their personal safety, perhaps crying out, or even in a numb, cold rage. You could go on, couldn't you? Okay, so we all know a tantrum when we see one, but let's ask a crucial question. Can tantrums